Hi, I'm Kristi Northup, and I am the executive pastor at Saints Community Church in New Orleans. And I just want to talk with you for a few minutes today about creating a culture of invitation in your church. My husband Wayne and I planted Saints Community Church in 2011, and we tried everything. We did door hangers in the neighborhood, we did a 25,000-piece mailer, we even had a billboard. And the truth is that none of that really worked very well until we really started emphasizing personal invitations. And we found that all of those things reinforced the personal invitation. But when people started inviting their friends, their family, that was when we really started to see people come to the church and come to the Lord. There's a difference between church growth, which we have lots of things that we see promoted for church growth like that, Google engine words and all of the tools that I just described, but that is not the same as soul winning. That is not the same as leading people to Jesus. And so I just want to talk a little bit today about the importance of creating a culture of invitation in your church. So the very first thing is that, like anything in leadership, it is so important to lead by example. It is really important for the church to see their leader and their leaders telling their own personal stories of people that they're sharing their faith with, spending time with, leading to Jesus, talking about those conversations that they've had, because it inspires people to believe, oh, I think I can do that too. I think I have a friend that I could reach or I could invite. So it's important to share the stories. And another thing that we do is in our leader meeting, we do a thing called Celebrate Wins. Lots of churches do that, but our wins are all about bringing people, inviting people, leading people to Jesus. So the only kind of wins that we talk about in that meeting are sharing the stories of my neighbor, we had a great conversation about the Lord, or I was able to invite my coworker and he came. And so we like to have our people hear those kind of stories from their peers and from the leaders and lead by example. The second thing is to give people tangible tools. It makes it so much easier if they have something that they can give someone. So for example, we have found that invite cards specific to a series work really well. If someone can put that in their hands and say, hey, we're doing a series about anxiety and I thought that this would really be something that you would appreciate, and invite them with that card. Or just general cards that have the name of the church, the time, the location. So the cards have worked really well. We've done screensavers, we've done social media posts, anything we can do to facilitate people having a tool to invite others. Another thing that goes along with the tools is having special days where it's not just like maybe their guest is only one of a few that come, but a day that is specially for guests tends to create more inertia. So we do a thing called One Day. Actually, our friend Dan Hunter at Grace Church in Houston is the one that shared this with us years ago when he was in youth ministry. It's one day where everyone tries to bring one friend. And the first time that we did it, we were just a new church plant. We hadn't been going very long. And we had over 100 guests on that first time we did One Day. We were ecstatic. We were so excited. So we've continued to do One Day and just encourage people to invite several so that one person comes with them, but everybody to have someone, one friend that they all bring on the same day. We make a huge deal out of the obvious days, Easter, Christmas. We preach a message about leading people to Jesus that week before or 2 weeks before, just to remind people the importance. But then we also make a big deal out of, like, we do Team Day, where we can have all of the coaches that coach people on their teams to come that day. We do a big invite with baby dedications or baptisms. We try to have special invite days and have special tools to give people to make it easier for them to invite. Number 3, prioritize relationships with unbelievers. This is probably the most awesome thing that my husband does as the lead pastor, is he gives our staff the latitude to make that a top priority. So if we have a staff meeting, but there's a community meeting that they've been invited to at the same time, the community meeting is more important. If we're invited to a baby shower, a bar mitzvah, a soccer party, a football game at someone's house, we are gonna be there. Because one of the ways that we can show that we care is just by being present in people's lives and investing in their lives, investing in those relationships. It has been a priority for us as believers first, not just as Christian leaders and pastors, but as believers, to have a place where we are in relationship with unbelievers. So that's been through when I worked bivocationally. We specifically try to have friendships with our neighbors, and my husband has coached soccer for a long time, just as a way for us to be in relationship on purpose with unbelievers. And like I said, those things are top priority. They take precedence over just about anything else for us as far as church calendar goes. Another way that we have prioritized relationships during the pandemic is that we took the entire list of people in our database that have ever visited our church. We split it up and we asked 50 leaders. So these were staff, elders, deacons, small group leaders, and just people with really great personalities that we like, that are spiritual people, if they would be part of a team to call that entire list. And we asked them if they would be willing to lead a new small group. So when they called people, everybody only had like maybe 10 to 20 names. And each person that they called, we just asked them, are you okay? Can we pray for you? And I want to invite you to my new small group. In this way, we added 20 small groups and a lot of hurting people at a really difficult time, because it's not just about events and tools and growth. It is about relationship and trudging through the difficult times with people. And so that's a way through relationships that we've been able to see people come to Jesus. Number 4, remember, it's a long game. It is a long game. I worked in the early years of our church plant full-time in banking and had coworkers who were my friends, and I would invite them consistently. We found in our context that it takes 10 to 20 personal invites before someone comes to church. So I just would, every holiday, I would do a little thing of like hot cocoa and put the card on it and put that on their desk, or I would invite them for Christmas, because of course everybody usually tries to go to church once during Christmas, many people. And I just kept, anytime there was a party, anything I was invited to, even after I left, years after I left, I would still get invited to the Christmas party, and I would go to that just to try to stay in relationship with people. Over the years, 3 of my coworkers and their families have come to the Lord, become part of the church. But this year, during the pandemic, I tagged a bunch of people on Facebook when we started doing our online services, and a few of them were my bank coworkers. One of them watched the service, and then she logged on for the next service, and then she shared it to her own Facebook feed, and then she ended up on that list, and she got a call and was asked to join a small group and joined a Zoom small group for women. And now, that very first Sunday that we were back in person, there she was with her mask and everything. She has become a faithful attender. She loves kids. She serves in our kids ministry now, working with special needs children, and she even went on a missions trip. And it was just not because I felt something compelling or special. I just kept trying. And over 8 years of relationship, when she hit a point where she had a crisis that she knew she needed God for, she reached out. So just remember, it's the long game. It may not happen overnight. It may be over the course of years, but God knows and He sees. And when the time is right, they're gonna come. Is it awkward? Yeah, sometimes. Do I feel that nervousness about being rejected every time I send a text message reminding someone to come for a special service? Yes, I do. A friend who was part of our church that invited so many people and brought so many people, she says every Sunday morning she texts like 40 people, and she's just helped me be more bold and realize that I care more about people's freedom than I do about my own fear. I care more about them having the opportunity to know God and seeing a vision of them walking with God than I do about my own nervousness or my own rejection. I believe that these people that we're reaching out to are gonna come to Jesus eventually. And so it helps me to just lean into the awkwardness of it and push forward. If you will do this stuff and just push past the awkwardness, Reach out, invite, and keep inviting. I love the verse in Matthew where Jesus said, ask and keep asking, seek and keep seeking, knock and keep knocking, and the door will be open to you. We want to see the doors of heaven opened to the people that we love who don't know the Lord. So ask and keep asking, seek and keep seeking, knock and keep knocking. Share that with your congregation, share that with your staff. Have them come along with you in the journey, and you are going to be amazed to see what God does when people get it in their hearts to invite.